Hello, welcome back to the reading of the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 3. Chapter 289, Part 3, From Gerasa to the Fountain of the Camaleer. After they have gone, after being blessed, Matthew whispers, "Who would have told these women only a short while ago that they were to sleep on straw beds so far from their homes?" "I have never slept so well," states Mary of Magdala resolutely, and Martha confirms her statement. But Peter admits that his companion is right. "Matthew is right, and I wonder why the Master has brought you here." "Something I failed to understand." "Because we are his disciples." "Well, if he went where lions are, would you go?" "Of course, Simon Peter. What an effort to go for a little walk, and with him!" "Well, in fact, it is a long walk, and for women who are not used to it." But the women protest, and Peter shrugs his shoulders and becomes silent. James of Alphaeus, on looking up, sees such a bright smile on Jesus' face that he asks him, "Will you tell us privately the real purpose of this journey with the women, and with so little fruit as compared to its fatigue?" "Could you expect to see now the fruit of the seed buried in the fields which we have crossed?" "I could not. I will see it in springtime." "I also say to you, you will see it in due time." The apostles do not reply. The silvery voice of Mary is heard. "Son, we were talking today of what you said at Ramoth, and each of us had different impressions and reflections. Would you tell us your thought? I said that it was better to call you at once, but you were speaking to John of Endor." "In actual fact, I raised the question because I am a poor heathen, and I do not have the splendid light of your faith. You must sympathize with me." "I would like to have your soul, my dear sister," says the Magdalene impulsively, and exuberant as she is, she embraces Syntyche, clasping her with one arm. Her wonderful beauty seems to give light by itself to the miserable dwelling and to decorate it with the wealth of her sumptuous house. The Greek woman, who is entirely different and yet has such a singular personality, while embraced by the Magdalene, adds a meditative note to the cry of love which seems to be always bursting forth from passionate Mary. Meanwhile, the Blessed Virgin, sitting with her gentle face raised towards her Son, her hands clasped as if she were praying, her most pure profile outstanding against the black wall, is the perpetual adorer. Susanna is dozing in the shadow of a corner, while Martha, who is active, notwithstanding her weariness and the pressure of the others, takes advantage of the light of the fireplace to fasten some buckles on Margiam's garment. Jesus says to Syntyche, "But it was not a grievous thought. I heard you laugh." "Yes, because of the boy, who solved the question easily, saying, 'I do not want to come back unless Jesus does. But if you want to know everything, go to the next world, then come back and tell us whether you remember.'" They all laugh again and say that Syntyche was asking Mary for a clarification on the explanation, which she had not understood properly, of the remembrance which souls have, and which explains a certain possibility for heathens to have a vague recollection of the truth. "I was saying, does that perhaps confirm the theory of reincarnation in which many heathens believe? And your mother was telling me that what you say is something entirely different. Will you explain also this to me, my lord? Listen. You must not believe that the fact that souls have spontaneous recollections of truth proves that we have several lives. By now you have already learned enough to be aware of how man was created, how he sinned and was punished. You have also been told that God incorporated a single soul in each man. That soul is created from time to time and is never again used for subsequent incarnations. This certainty would seem to cancel my statement concerning the recollection of souls. It should cancel it with regard to any other being, with the exception of man, who is gifted with a soul made by God. Animals cannot remember anything, as they are born once only. But man can remember. Although he is born once only, he remembers with his better part, his soul. Where do souls come from? The soul of each man. From God. Who is God? The most intelligent, powerful, perfect spirit. This wonderful thing which is a soul, a thing created by God, to give man his image and likeness, as an unquestionable sign of his most holy paternity, shows signs of the qualities characteristic of him who creates it. It is therefore intelligent, spiritual, free, immortal, like the Father who created it. It is perfect when it originates from the divine thought, and in the instant of its creation it is identical, for 1,000th of instant, with the soul of the first man, a perfection which understands the truth through free gift, 1,000th of an instant. Then once it is formed, it is stained by original sin. To make it clearer for you, I will say that it is as if God were pregnant with the soul which he creates, and the creature, in being born, were wounded by an indelible mark. Do you understand me? Yes, I do. While it is thought, it is perfect. The creating thought lasts 1,000th of an instant. The thought then becomes actual fact, and the fact is subject to the law brought about by sin. Your reply is correct. A soul becomes thus incarnate in the human body, bringing with it the memory of the Creator, that is, of the truth, as a secret gem in the mystery of its spiritual being. A baby is born. It may become good, very good, or wicked. It may become anything, because it is endowed with free will. The angelical ministry throws light on its memories, and the tempter, darkness. If man craves after light, and thus for a greater and greater virtue, making his soul the master of his being, the faculty of remembering increases in the soul, as if virtue made the wall interposed between soul and God thinner and thinner. That is why virtuous people in every country perceive the truth, not in a perfect way, as they are dulled by contrasting doctrines or by lethal ignorance, but in a sufficient manner to give pages of moral perfection to the people to whom they belong. Have you understood? Are you convinced? Yes. In conclusion, the religion of virtue practiced heroically predisposes the soul to the true religion and to the knowledge of God. Exactly. And now go and rest, and may you be blessed. And you too, Mother, and you, sisters and disciples, may you rest in the peace of God. This has been a reading from the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 3, Chapter 289, Part 3, From Gerasa to the Fountain of the Camaleer. Thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow. May God bless you, and may peace be with you.